good to be back. Super excited to be having the first stream of the year. I hope that the audio and everything sounds good. Yeah, and thank you for spending the time to chill with me, whether you're watching this after the fact or you are watching this live. I will be doing more and more of this kind of like chill with me, work with me, design with me type of sessions. And yeah, the idea is to kind of like share some of my thought process, is to kind of like go through some of the work that I actually need to do while I'm actually live streaming with you guys. So that way I can be productive and document my journey along the way. So I hope that you will kind of like enjoy some of this content that I am planning on kind of like creating and moving out as the year starts. So yeah, if you're new here, my name is Farah Mahendri. That is not super important. You can check out. I hope that I have the right links in the description to the official Do Better UX website, where I write a newsletter and publish most of this content. I've got a podcast as well called Not a UX Designer. Probably that is going to change during the course of this year. So yeah, let me dive into the work that I want to do today. So I am working on a project of a new fintech product called Kaya Money. And the idea around this product is to help people send e-wallets within the context of South Africa to any e-wallet possible. We have been validating this idea for some time now through different forms of things that we've done. So towards the tail end of last year, we published a landing page, and this landing page was basically advertising to customers what Kaya Money is, and it had kind of like a sign up to get started. A lot of people signed up for it, so that kind of like validated our idea, and now I'm in the process of actually building and designing this, and I have done quite a lot of work on the journeys that we have so far, but I wanted to start going back and kind of doing a little bit more kind of like properly thought out refinements now that we have built kind of like a prototype of just to validate if the idea is actually feasible. Now I want to really get into the dive deep into kind of like the design, the user experience, and kind of, you know, optimizing it for actually being an minimum viable product that we can put out into the market. I'm inviting you on this journey, which is a little bit weird. It's like, dude, you know, this is kind of like your startup. Why are you inviting us along the journey? I'm doing this for a couple of reasons. I want to show people kind of like what my journey is on this specific product, but I also want to help other designers, product managers, product owners kind of see how what some of thinking processes are that I have on this platform, and kind of how I approach solution design and kind of like the thinking around it. Right now, I was hoping that I could show you most of my workings on the iPad today. Unfortunately, this is something that I haven't set up properly. Being the first stream of the year, you know how it goes. You know, these things are not always set up 100%. So today I want to work mainly on the onboarding journey. Right now, a lot of people will probably say, oh cool, you know, you're talking about the onboarding screens that you would get on the app, and I want to talk about that a little bit for a moment and just put out what my thinking is out there around kind of what is a useful approach to the onboarding journey. Now, every app that you download kind of like has this, you know, first screens that you swipe through. And usually in the UX world, this is called the onboarding journey, right? Kind of like the onboarding screens, right? And a lot of junior designers fail to understand that this is actually not the onboarding journey, but just rather some of the onboarding screens that would share, right? Let me just log in into Penport here while I am discussing this with you guys. So, a lot of junior designers fail to understand that um, this onboarding screens are actually not the onboarding journey itself, and they kind of treat these onboarding screens as if they were the onboarding journey itself, right? Now, I don't know where the concept of onboarding screens comes from, but I think it totally misses the point, right? Now, you have a lot of cool visual things that is usually put on those onboarding screens with a little very text and context of what the app is about. And the idea around this is to kind of showcase what the app is about to the user who has already downloaded the app, which to me doesn't make any sense, because for them to download the app, they actually need to be informed of what the app is and what it does, which is something that actually sits a step before that, right? When I say a step before that, that means before they even download your app, where are they getting this information? Is it your website's landing page? Is it, did they hear it from a friend or a partner? Did they hear it from, did they find it on the App Store when they searched for a specific thing that they were looking for, let's say budgeting, for example, right? And then your app came through with the specific results. So where did they come through? Why are they downloading your app? They definitely know something about your app already, right? If they are coming down here to, if they're coming to it and they have already downloaded it. So I think it's a waste of time to have the onboarding screens, to actually onboard people. Rather, the way that I want to think about this is, what is the user's next step after downloading the app, right? So the user has downloaded the app, they're kind of in the app already, and they have started using the app, right? So what are the next steps? What are the next things that the user actually wants to do, right? So I think we're gonna have typical things. Let me see if I can illustrate what I'm trying to do here on the screen. I wanted to do it all on the iPad, but it's not connected to the screen, so you can't really see what I am talking about. Let me move the microphone a little bit closer and actually get this out of the way, because it's not really being useful. Okay, let's put that away, and let's bring the microphone near and center to us. I hope that makes the audio a little bit better for you guys as well. Cool. So let me get into Penpot. So if you don't know this and you are kind of like getting into design or product design, there's this product here called Penport, which is basically a very cool open source product alternative to Figma, right? And I think it's super cool. So I want to use this for most of my projects coming up, and a lot of people kind of say that this is probably not the best way to go when it comes to designing products. I should probably be using a Figma or something like that. That is an industry standard that I can share files with and other people can use. Well, this is free. Anybody can just download it, sign in, and start using it right away. So there's actually no friction point for licenses and stuff for me to be able to share my files from Penport. The other cool thing about Penport is since it's an open source software, I see I think that there will be a lot more support for kind of like open file standards, right? So you should be able to open that file just like you can open a GIMP file in a Photoshop or whatever it is. There should be a little bit more support for other standards. I'm just gonna sip on my tea a little bit as I walk through this journey. I hope that you guys don't mind. I hope that you don't mind that I drink tea. And there's some people are kind of like totally against tea. I don't know why. All the coffee buffs that I know, they'll be like, oh no, we don't kind of like drink tea, etc., etc. It's like it's disgusting or something. I don't know. But I like tea. I like coffee too. So I kind of like gel with both things, to be honest. Cool. So let's get back to Penport. Let me see if I can kind of illustrate what are the different building blocks of the journey that I have in mind, right? I have kind of illustrated this a little bit in Figma, but yeah, like I said, I don't want to use Figma right now. Kind of like want to move away from Figma, but let me redraw some of the thinking that I have here for you, right? So let me see if I can actually do this. This will be sick if I can copy and paste directly from Figma into Penport. I know probably that won't work. Oh, okay. Listen, copied something, right? Not ideal, but yeah, copy something. Cool. Let's get into here. So just to let me see how much of the screen size I can make this. Cool. I hope this is much more visible to you, right? So typically you would get your user downloading the app. Let's just make this a nice visible color. There's some contract. Come on. Okay, maybe what I'm trying to do here, I don't know if there is a specific tool to do this. Anyway, let me kill this. Okay, so maybe I am forced to do this in Figma after all. Figma, you live one more day, but yeah, I shall conquer. Right. I definitely don't want to work in Figma anymore. Look, it's part of the licensing. I just don't want to pay for software that could be available in other readily available softwares. And yeah, also I just think that since Figma got bought by Adobe, I don't like being locked in in any ecosystem right now, right? Because you build this thing and the pricing changes, etc., etc., and then it becomes a little bit of a problemo, right? Cool. All right, so let me put this thing here. So typically in most fashions, like I was saying, let me just get back to this. You'll find that your user has come from a website or something, right? So could I use maybe Freeform? Maybe that could be better to illustrate this rather than Figma. because I really just want to draw boxes around and kind of share with you guys the oh, this will work much better. Nice. Sweet. This is exactly what I needed. I need a freeform. I think I'm gonna start using freeform a little bit more. Since it was released, I've kind of like been ignoring it. Sometimes feel like I'm getting a little bit too stuck in the Apple ecosystem, if you know what I mean. Cool. Let's make me a little bit smaller, and let's talk through this. Cool. So your user will probably come from your website, right? Or how I usually like to put it is, how do they learn about you, right? Um, or maybe let's start by discover, right? And then as they discover that there's somebody like you, they want to learn a little bit more, right? Uh, um, Typically in this framework, you don't see people putting onboarding here, but I like putting it because it helps a little bit. Okay, maybe if I write this right spelling, it'll be better. Cool. You got onboarding, right? And then you got use, right? What are they actually going to use, right? So if you think about this, there's typically different, it's typically the typical use journey of any user, right? So they will find out about your app somehow, right? Once they find out about your app, they will want to learn about it, find out if it'll actually solve their pain point or not. And then there'll be the onboarding, right? And then they'll use the app. For us, we have kind of worked on the first two steps. So for discovery, we've kind of put that all into the hands of marketing. So marketing campaigns, as we rolling out new features, as we are launching, we've already started building quite a good mailing list so far. And the idea is that the more we have this mailing list, we've got a good amount of users to do user testing with. We've got a good amount of users that we can reach out to help test out our product and refine it a little bit further and validate ideas as we work on them, right? So for example, I think this onboarding journey that we're working on is something that we'll definitely want to validate with customers as we go. So that is the focus of today. This is exactly what I want to kind of like get into and discuss. And what is the approach, right? So we already figured out that our customer is coming from somewhere. And when they get to the learning part here, right, they probably so discover for us will be marketing, right? Marketing, etc., right? For learning, we've got the power of our website, right? We also have what you call. We've got our website. We've got the app page within the Play stores, right? Or Google Store. I'm not gonna put both of them. Play Store and the App Store, right? So let's just make that a little bit neat so that it's easy to read. Get the marketing here. Da, 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 dum. Okay, cool. So you get the gist, right? Kind of like they'll learn about it when they learn on the app page, because before a user downloads your app, right? They have a whole page that they learn about it and find out more if they wanna download it, right? So we don't need that information when we get into the onboarding, right? So we want to move away from the onboarding screens, right? So here they don't need no more info, but they actually need to start doing, getting into the thing, right? So what do we want them to do first? So our journey, um, Kaya Money is a money sending app, right? So for you to be able to start using it, there are some prerequisites. Otherwise, the user experience when you get into it, it will be kind of like bland, right? So there's no reason of kind of like getting a user kind of like signed up and all of that stuff, and they get into this app and it's just right. So I want to say onboarding. Obviously, this is for first users only, right? So we're looking at a first user journey here, right? Um, so what do we actually want them to do? We want them to download the app and start using it right away. We want them to send their first transaction, and hopefully at the end of that, they can share this experience with their friends, right? That is what I think should be like kind of like the first end-to-end experience. So you download the app, you get into it right away, you start using it without kind of like fluffing around with like signups and things like that. You kind of like just get into it, right? So the way that I want to do this, that I have used on other projects before, is to kind of create an experience where the setup is actually kind of like your initial experience, right? So but in in a way that you drive what the objective of the user is, right? So not asking them a lot of sign up information upfront, but rather kind of like getting them to actually start using the features of the app that you have advertised for, right? So what we want to do here is um, we don't want any app walkthrough, so we want to get the user right into the app. So what do they do? I think they will be in the mindset of, okay, I'm trying to send money to somebody, right? So I think the first, let's just put down questions for now, right? Who do you want to send money to? So this is basically prompting them to kind of put in the details of the recipient. In the background, we can have a database or something that kind of like starts capturing this into like a recipient, right? So who do you want to send money to? How much do you want to send? Right? How where are you sending the money from? Right. And the biggest question for our app is, how would you like the user to receive the money, right? Uh, right. So I think these are the main questions that we wanna kind of like jump right into as the user logs in into the app, right? Because we don't want to waste any time. We want to kind of like get the user right in there, right? So this is how I would see this playing out, right? So I'm just gonna copy our boxes here. Let's just change the color to represent our flow now. Let's make it purple. The color purple. Cool. All right, so let's say the first thing will be enter. Okay, so maybe let me just go back a step here. So there'll probably be a splash screen just to help the app initialize. All right. And maybe kind of like a quick info screen, like ready to send money. Obviously, we'll refine this in the in the UI as we're going. Right. So, how do I get a little joiny pointy thingy without having to copy and paste? If you know, help me out here, folks. Cool. Okay, that is not linked anyhow. Anyway, it's fine. I'll leave it there. Cool. Up next, we've got ready to send money. And then obviously you'll say yes. So this is just to kind of like prompt you, maybe, give you an idea of what the next action is to set expectations. I think this is a very good user experience trick or hack to kind of set an expectation of what the user can expect in the next step, right? So the first thing will be who do you want to send money to, right? So here I'm guessing would have different variables such as so in here we'll probably have things like name of the person, mobile number. What else could we put here? Let's make these attributes a little bit smaller. Bullet points and left align. Okay, so we can have the name, mobile number. I think for our context and our use case, those are the main things that we need, really. We need the name of the person that is receiving the thing, their mobile number, because that is where we're actually going to send the details on how to withdraw this money, right? I think maybe which bank to receive from. Bank. So which bank are they going to withdraw from? So this is all the recipient details that we need. Maybe we could offer them an option here to say save recipient. So that you can send future you can do future transactions with them with less friction as you go forth, right? Cool. So that is who do you want to send the money to, and then we'll go to the next part of the journey, right? So how much do you want to send? So So here could be the amount, and maybe a selection of use um, pay with card, or pay with my account. All right. Cool. So you can put the thing again, pay with card. This is just kind of like a selection to kind of like prompt you and give you an idea of what could be coming next. Because from this point, you'll probably be asking, okay, so how are you going to make this payment, right? Cool. So splash screen, ready to send some money. Yeah. Who do you want to send it to? Blah, blah, blah. How much do you want to send? This is how much I want to send via this thing. And I think here there's kind of like a branch out into two journeys. Obviously, we'll have our send with our add card journey, right? And our will potentially have our add account journey. All right. So that's where kind of like the journeys are split. Maybe let me take this out so that we can streamline this guy a little bit more. Cool. So maybe let me put add account up there, because I want this to be probably the main journey that we use, because not everybody has got cards within the market that we're designing this for, which is South Africa, right? So let me just change this to have it as maybe let's make it green, red. Yeah, I kind of like that. So that is the color that we'll use for our kind of like pivoting decision points, right? Cool. So add this, add that. So moving on, obviously from here we get into that journey, and we get into that journey. So these will be two journeys, kind of branching out into sort of like what you need to do to add the account, what you need to do to add the card, etc., etc., right? Maybe let me not get into the details of that for now. And from there, let's just say those red boxes, they've got other processes in them. We can add that in there and kind of modify how that journey looks later. But what I'm trying to get to here is to kind of illustrate a very high level journey of how this would look like. So you can already see here that the thinking is quite different, from us just having splash screens and then the typical user experience that you would find, right? Like if we go over onto Dribble or any of these UX design sites, right? So if we just look for onboarding screens, right, and we get into any of this. Let's just go on Dribble, because probably there's a lot of stuff there. So you can see here within our Dribble, there is quite a stack of kind of like this typical onboarding screens, right? Like you've got, the information here. Let's see what this one actually looks like. Contact me. I don't even know what this is about. Like that's the thing with Dribble, right? Okay, cool. So here is a splash screen. Here's some information, I guess. We don't sell your data. So you see, kind of like typical slide through the screens type of thing, you know. So we're already moving away from that because we already know that our user knows this information, and what they need to do right now is to just jump in, right? And kind of like execute, right? So this kind of speaks to the user experience being much better, much faster, much easier to go through, right? So let's see how would actually wrap this up, because I think the onboarding journey, especially the first experience a user has to use the app, needs to be so quick, easy, helpful that the user actually just wants to kind of like recommend this thing, right? And if you don't give them that opportunity, but you have managed to delight them, then you're kind of like losing out, right? That's at least how I think about this. So the user has signed up for you, decided to download the app, signed up for it, well, used it for the first time, decided to kind of like, really, really enjoy the experience, and they want to share it with somebody, right? How do we do that? So let's just get back here to our journey. So here the user has kind of, so how much do you want to send? How much do you want money to send? Blah, 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 blah. Would you like, just save the recipient. Okay, so I think we've covered most of these questions that we had here, right? So how much do you want to send? How much? Who do you want to send the money to? How much do you want to send? Where are you sending the money from? Right, which is here we are. How would you like the recipient to receive the money? I think so. I think we've covered that in quite a few steps, which is pretty cool, right? And if we want to make the clicks even less, we could remove this ready to send money, but I think it's a good prompt before users actually get into the journey. So we've got splash screen, a little bit of a prompt to tell you that, we're going to take you into this process of sending money now. If we really find out, maybe through user research and user testing, that users still need a little bit more information here, I would probably go with the route of just having a video that automatically plays, telling you about, how easy it is to send money with this app. That way the user doesn't have any friction point of kind of like scrolling or whatever it is. They can either watch the video, um, and kind of like not do anything, or just, kind of like get started. So maybe we'll kind of like think about some of that level of UX treatment when we get to that part of the journey, right? Cool. So let's continue here with our journey. Just doing a quick time check. I think we are about 41 minutes in. I'm kind of enjoying the stream today, so yeah, I think if it's a little bit longer, it should be okay. I haven't done this in such a long time, and yeah, I want to try and create more content this year. I want to be a little bit more visible, and just hang around with you guys and do this type of things. Um, I hope that I do find more and more time to do this. But I think if I actually sit down and just kind of like work through some of the things that I need to work through with you guys like this, obviously the things that I can share, right? And most of these projects that I'm working on, I cannot share. But yeah, something like this, which is something that I'm building, I would like to invite you on the journey and actually have you around. Cool. So add account, add card. I think after this, both of these actually should go kind of like into one journey, which I think will be what would that look like? So let's see. So we've added our account or a card, right? Maybe here we've got a confirmation, right? confirm your okay. So here we want the user to confirm the transaction details. Let's space that a little bit more because this other arrow is looking a little bit jank. Yeah, that's better. It's got a little bit more room now. Cool. They confirm the transaction details. Obviously, next thing that they would do here is to send the file, the money, right? Send. Or maybe we'll do it on the same step. Confirm transaction details and send. Cool. All right. So the user confirms the transaction details and sends the money. And right here, that's where we want to get them to share with a friend. Obviously, if they enjoyed it, right? So probably share this with a friend, and maybe we'll can put in some sort of incentive here, right? I don't know what that could be, right? Let's have some incentive here. Cool. And then from there, I think up next, what we have is we actually want them now to start thinking about other things, right? Now that they've shared the app, they have sent the first money, they've actually used the app in just a few clicks. This part will probably elongate what that process looks like, but hopefully it won't be too complex. But it's kind of like part of getting into executing the task at hand, right? So once they do that, we want to bring them back now to um, security, right? So finish setting up your profile. Right, because we don't really need them to let me think about this. Do we actually need them to put in their details before they send the money? I think so, at least their name, right? So that we know where the money is coming from. But yeah, here will be like finish setting up the profile. Right, get them to do some profile details and authentication stuff. And this is what I think a good onboarding journey looks like, right? At least for our users, like quite simple and straightforward. And this is not the typical thing that you would find a lot of junior designers calling an onboarding user experience journey, right? Like you would typically find, kind of like the screens, the onboarding screens concept being implemented, and I really wanted to move away from that. So I hope that you guys kind of like learned something within this session of me kind of putting this onboarding journey together. I am going to be adding a little bit more meat and bones into this probably in the next session. I will show you a couple of screens. I am really wanted to move everything into Penport and move out of Figma, so maybe that is what I'll be doing until the next session that I do this, probably sometime next week, in the coming week. So yeah, if you are interested in these design sessions, consider subscribing so that you get notified when I go live. That way you won't miss the sessions, because I'm kind of like probably still finding the right time to do this. And sometimes we live in South Africa, there's a thing called load shedding where they cut the power off, and I don't really want to be doing live streamings with my generator making noise outside, right? So I think that's where I'm gonna cut it for today. I thought I would make this a little bit longer, but I think I want to kind of like get into a little bit more detail, which I think might be a little bit, sensitive to show the world. I do want to carry with you on my journey, but I don't want to kind of like give out everything. And I think today session was to really chill with you guys and speak about a different way of approaching onboarding, right? And really thinking about the end to end onboarding journey, kind of like from start to finish. And for me, closing the loop on that onboarding journey, making sure that the person doesn't only actually kind of like execute the task that they came to do in the app the first time, in the first instance that they're doing it, um, with less friction as much as possible. This type of onboarding will actually, kind of like improve the usage and kind of like the initial usage rate. Most apps where people need to kind of like sign in first, it's kind of like the first roadblock that users kind of like get, right? When you hit them with a sign in page initially. Maybe your app has got a strong use case for having users sign up first, but I think you should kind of like create a temporary account in the background as the user goes through kind of like creating their profile, right? Keep that information in a temporary database, and then that is linked into the main user database once they've kind of like committed to actually using your app and going forth. But tying it up for me is making sure not only that they execute the task that they came to execute, but also I think it's a good opportunity that first use, when they really enjoy this app, you want to put in something like a recommendation type of thing, right? So if you really enjoyed using this app, right, would you like to tell a friend about it? Put an incentive for there, right? Like, I don't really know what that incentive is for now for our journey, but it could be something like get your next a discount on your next 5 transactions, etc., etc., right? So yeah, it's that type of thinking of how do we drive a little bit more value, right, other than just copying what's out there, what other people are doing, in Dribble, etc., etc. And I see this a lot. I see this a lot with even some mid and senior designers that kind of like fold into stakeholders, telling them, what, we need splash screens, walk-through screens. That's what they call them sometimes, so that the user knows to do this. And designers fail to push back to say that is not adding any more value. Users probably know this information already. That's why they've downloaded your app, right? So if we can push back a little bit there and actually come up with a way of creating a little bit more value, I think that will be way more valuable when it comes to building onboarding journeys within the apps that we build, whether it's your own app or it's an app that you are working on for a client project, right? So let me know what you think about this approach in the comments whenever you're watching this. Yeah, I think I should probably do a lot more work with me sessions where I don't talk so much, but I think today I really wanted to bring you into the process with me. Maybe we'll do kind of like work with me design sessions and work with me alone sessions together, but alone type of sessions. I don't know. Yeah, looking forward to that. Again, if you like this type of content, check out dobetterux.com, which is our official website. There you will find entries of our newsletter. You'll also be able to sign up for a newsletter, which will give you every week in your inbox a highlight of things that I've really enjoyed that week in the design space, some insights that I found around product design, career insights, and kind of like what to look up for in the next coming week or weeks within the content that we'll be producing. You also kind of like get early accesses to our podcast. So yeah, consider subscribing for the newsletter over on dobetterux.com. But other than that, you could kind of enjoy the articles and the posts and the things that we post on the website itself. But yeah, I think the newsletter will give you a little bit more insight and flavor as to like, what other things out there that we are finding, that I am finding useful, and helping me optimize my career and kind of like my product design, product management process. So that's what it's really about. That's what this channel is about. I hope that I can bring different flavors this week. I like how this Apple thing. Come on, it should do the fireworks in the background. Like it kind of like just randomly works sometimes. I think it's so like my thumb down or up. There we go. Yeah, that's what I wanted. I should really consider turning this off before I start doing these live streams, because yeah, it kind of like just goes crazy sometimes. But yeah, it was great hanging out with you guys. It was great having some time. It's great being back on YouTube, guys. You have no idea. And on the trajectory of being a little bit more creative, I want to try and actually create more edited videos on the YouTube channel. You'll see that over the course of last year, actually the course of the existence of the channel, I've just kind of like been doing live streams. Number one, is much easier to do, plug in, set up, chill with you guys for an hour. But I want to get a little bit more purposeful about my messaging this year, as well as allowing myself to actually have a little bit more creative time. So I want to be producing a little bit more edited videos on the channel, and I hope that you enjoy that format. So again, if you want to look out for all these things, consider subscribing to the channel, to the newsletter, whatever it is, so that you don't miss out when I actually take out this content. Or maybe don't do that for now. Maybe keep my word to it. Once the frequency of the information is coming out there at a good frequency, and you are actually getting some value out of this, maybe that's when you should consider subscribing. Maybe not now. Keep me honest here. Cool. So it was great hanging out with you. I am gonna be signing out now. I don't have a sign up screen, so you are gonna see my starting soon screen again. But yeah, I hope that you enjoyed the live stream and found some value today. I'll catch you in the next one.